radiant health is not about adding more supplements, having some complicated protocol or some rigid diet or a special machine. It starts by release. Vitality comes from release. Energy comes from release. So first we have to release what is actually blocking us from radiant health. What is in the way? Because it starts with a blockage. So we have to address that first by releasing the tension, releasing the trauma, releasing the toxins, and releasing the armor that we build around ourselves. So how are we going to do that? So first of all, if we have in a place where right now we don't experience optimum health, first of all, it's realizing our choices, our behavior, our actions, our beliefs have gotten us to the place where we are right now. So first starts acknowledging that. So whatever gotten you to where you are right now, it requires now a different approach. That means it's a new way of eating, a new way of breathing, a new way of moving, a new way of thinking, a new way of how you see yourself and what you believe is possible for you. It also requires a new way of managing stress, a new way of mastering your emotion. So it actually requires a completely new approach, a different approach. I'm not saying more complicated, it actually can be easier. So first it's the mindset shift that whatever you've been doing before is no longer working, especially you're at a certain age. If you're over 40, it's no longer working what worked at 20 or at 30. If you're over 50, it's definitely no longer working what worked at 40. And if you're even over 60, so it's like constantly we need to upgrade. We need to find new ways because we're constantly shifting. Also, the world is shifting. We are bombarded by much more toxins than 50 years ago. So a lot of things are shifting. So in order for us to stay in our top condition, optimal health and vibrant vitality, we need to constantly upgrade. And that requires a mindset shift and a different approach, and taking different action steps and creating a whole new lifestyle. At the end, it's about lifestyle. Lifestyle is the way you eat, the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you think, what you believe is possible, the way you show up. It's the energy emanation you're sending out. So it's about a lifestyle shift. As I said before, we have to remove the tension, we have to remove the toxins and the trauma, and the limitations that we all hold in our mind. So it's a removal first and a release. And first we have to acknowledge, we all have to go through that. This is not just something that some of us do. We all need to upgrade and keep up with whatever is going on, because daily we're bombarded with, we all hold stress in our body. Everyone has stress to some degree. And stress is stored in your cells, it's stored in your tissues. And so are unresolved emotions. Emotions you have not learned to process yet, you store in the body. Also, we all hold trauma to some degree. And trauma doesn't necessarily mean you have been beaten or raped. Trauma can be very subtle. It can be someone said something to you at some point, and you believed it, even that wasn't the truth, and that's actually something that's not serving you, and you took it on as a truth, and that's like a program that runs in your system, and it's not serving you, because every time something happens, you react to the program. And we've all been told things that are not in our highest interest, and if we believe that, we've taken it on, and that creates trauma. Someone said to you at some point, you're not good enough, and you truly believe that, that is a program that keeps running for the rest of your life until you shift it. First recognize it and then shift it. So we got to release all the stuff that is blocking us from optimal health. And you want to actually start seeing your body like a system of rivers and streams. And everything needs to flow and move. And when everything flows and moves, it means the energy is flowing. Blood and lymph is flowing. digestion is flowing optimally, elimination is flowing, the body assimilates the nutrient, everything is moving and flowing, and you have optimal energy, and your body is actually doing what it's designed to do, and your body's job is actually constantly to renew and to regenerate and to recycle and to cleanse and to release. That is the natural process of your body. But if there's stagnation in your systems are no longer working the way it's meant to do. And you can see it, like a river. If there's a dam in a river, that means, the water is not flowing the way it should be. And where there's many dams in the rivers that means in this area there is stagnation. There's actually things start to form and build, and bacteria are coming in, mosquitoes, all kinds of stuff are forming in that river. It's no longer moving the way it's supposed to. Same in your body. You can see in your body the same thing. If there's stagnation and there's a blockage, and if you have many blockages in your body and a lot of stagnation, at some point the body cannot handle. There's too much. So the body starts forming things, and the medical system gives it all kinds of names, such as tumors, cysts, fibroids, whatever name is given. But this is simply a sign there is stagnation. Inflammation is created in that area, and then nothing works the way it's meant to. Because your natural state is you are full of energy. Everything is working and moving, your body is functioning optimally. But the moment you have pains and aches or stiffness, or something is no longer working the way it used to, or you feel like low energy, you're sluggish, you have fatigue, you have a hard time waking up in the morning, that's simply a sign there is stagnation in your body. And the way to release the stagnation, get back to full energy, is to release whatever has been blocked and stored, to open up the blockages, open up the clogging, and then the energy can flow again. Because your natural state is actually to wake up in the morning full of energy, and all day long having peak states of energy, having vitality, feeling inspired about life, feeling positive and uplifted, being creative and solution oriented, and actually being on a mission. Waking up in the morning, you have a purpose in your life. You can't wait to get out of bed and to get started. And you're on this mission, you're unstoppable, and you can't actually wait to start creating. That is your natural state, because you came here for your unique gift. Everyone has a gift, a special gift, the gift that only you have. No one else has the exact same gift as you have. But most people, they sadly live the life of quiet desperation. They wake up in the morning feeling sluggish. They need a stimulant to get them going. They need an alarm clock to wake them up. And then they go to some job that they don't even like, simply so they can pay the bills. And that is called the rat race. It's a vicious cycle, or the wheel of samsara. This creates energy stagnation because you're not on fire, not ignited from within. So this is something to look at, where are you? Are you waking up in the morning on fire and you can't wait to get started? Or are you having a hard time? Do you need things to get you going? And you feel like crash, in the afternoon you get your crash, or you feel burned out, constantly tired. That is a sign there's a lot of stagnation in your system. And now it's time to open up these blockages. So we got to do first of all, we got to do regular cleansing, but we also need to be in a diet that supports things moving and flowing. And there's one food that anyone should be eating a lot of, and that is the one category, the fruit category. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to eat fruit, a lot of fruit. Just if you make that one thing, you change that, and you wake up in the morning, instead of having your pancake or your cereal, you start with a fruit meal. And ideally a mono fruit meal, which means one fruit. You can eat as much as you like. You can eat a big bowl of grapes, a big bowl of blueberries. But if you have one fruit for the morning, what actually happens, your body goes in cleansing mode. because fruits are naturally detoxifiers. They cleanse your bowels. They actually start to move things around, sweep things up, and help you have a really good bowel movement, have release. So I recommend anyone to add more fruit in your diet and eat a lot of fruit, especially in the morning. I would just eat until the afternoon, just fruits for a while and see what happens. And you will actually release stuff. Sometimes people release things that have been stuck there for a long time. But the fruits are naturally cleansing. Not only cleansing, they nourish your brain. It's actually the optimal nutrition that the brain needs. It's the ideal fuel for the body because fruits are actually loaded with sunlight. Just think about it. They're high up on a tree and they're exposed to sunlight. So they infuse themselves with the purest energy of the sun. So when you're eating fruit, you're eating sunlight, which is amazing. And sunlight contains biophotons. That's what the body actually needs. Because you are nature electric, you need electric food. Not food from a package that is processed and has all kinds of additives, but food that is loaded with sunlight. And also fruit has a living structured water. It's a different water than the water you get in a bottle. This water has a different frequency. There's actually devices you can measure the frequency of foods and drinks. So fruit contains a living structured water, which is power nutrition for the body. And also the fruit cleans your blood. And your health is dependent on the quality of your blood. So I recommend anyone, this is just a tiny, it's not even a hack, but it's just a tiny change you do when you start your morning with fruits. You will be riding a whole different frequency. Just a simple thing you can do, you know. So that is something I recommend anyone get on the fruit. This is actually, the fruits have been demonized. They're actually saying, you know, it causes cancer and all kinds of nonsense, which is not true, because fruit contains a simple sugar, and that's actually the nutrition the body needs. It's not a complex sugar like the white sugar or the sugar that you find in grains. That is very difficult for the body to process. It actually depletes you. So I don't recommend eating grains or any kind of white sugar or any sugar from a package. That food is actually hurting you. Start with real fruits. That alone will make a difference. And this is just one thing in terms of diet, but in general, I recommend eating real food. Most people eat food from a package. That's no longer a food. It's a product made by man. And we want to eat real food. The fruits and the vegetables, we want to eat all the colors of the rainbow. We want to eat food that's at purest and as cleanest and as closest to Mother Nature. Because that's the true nutrition that your body actually is thriving on. And then when you're feeding yourself like as much as possible with foods from Mother Nature in its rawest, purest form, you will notice you're running on a different frequency. You no longer need stimulants. And actually, fruits will make you happy because it puts a smile on your face. That's just the frequency. And just even cutting open an orange. Look at the orange, how it looks like. It's actually sacred geometry. It looks beautiful. So visually also, because there's this thing like the eye, you eat with the eye first by what you see. And just look at an orange cut open, how it looks like, and then you look at a potato. It's a completely different frequency. Completely different energy. It will make you entirely feel different. So this is just a little thing to think about, little golden nugget in terms of the nutrition that your body actually truly requires. And just know there's a lot of lies out there. There's so much misinformation of what the body needs and what it actually truly needs. And we got to get back to simplicity. It's not that complicated. It's not rocket science. It's actually simple. What does Mother Nature provide? What has beautiful colors? What is given to us by nature? Not something that has like 20 different ingredients. It's actually simple. And the simpler you eat, actually, the more energy you will have. Because when you eat simple, your body doesn't need a lot of energy to break down the food. Just think about everything you eat is a frequency. When you eat a meal with 20 different ingredients, that the body has to process 20 different frequencies, which is a lot of work for your body, So it takes a lot of energy because most of your energy goes to the digestion process. When your body is digesting complicated meals, it takes a lot of energy from your body, and there's not a lot of energy left to create and to become inventive and to actually get inspired about life, because all the energy goes to digestion. Okay, so some things to think about, okay? Keep it simple, keep it real, keep it raw, keep it natural, keep it colorful. And you will be riding a different frequency, and your energy will go up. Your frequency will raise. You're vibrating much higher than the average person. And then I want to quickly speak about tension. As I mentioned before, toxins you can release by adding more fruits in. It's really that simple. It's one little thing. Then we want to release tension. And we all have stress. So in order to release the stress, we have to move because it's stored in your body. So we got to get moving and breathing. Okay, but not just any kind of movement. I'm not talking here about walking. Walking is good, it's a beginning, but I'm talking about movement that gets your heart pounding, that gets you sweating, that gets you breathing deeply. There's actually no better movement than rebounding, which is jumping on a trampoline. So if you have a trampoline in your basement, now is the time to get it out and start using it, because there's nothing better than that. It actually detoxifies you. It moves all your internal organs. It massages you on a deep level. It tones your body. It moves your lymphatic system, which is detoxification and opening up the blockages in your body. So there's nothing better than that. So get your trampoline out of the basement, and you can put on music. You can dance with it, and you can do all kinds of things on a trampoline. You move your hips. You move up and down. You shake your hips. Anything you want to do in a trampoline is possible, okay? And if you don't have a trampoline, maybe it's time to invest into one. It's worth it. Good trampoline, don't buy the cheap ones, then they break down after 6 months. Get a good one, it costs at least $250 to $300, but this is an investment that will last you about 10 years if you use it every day. And this is your best health insurance, because if you do this every day, do regular detoxing, regular toning, and you stimulate your lymphatic system, you open up the blockages in your body, the chance you get sick is actually much, much less, okay? If you don't feel good, you can just jump very gently. If you have any pains in your body, it's not about jumping high, it's more about the movement. You can just jump very gently, you don't even have to go up in the air, just move gently up and down. That alone will do what's designed to do. So this is the best way to release the stress and the blockages in your body through the movement. And then breathing, deep breathing every day, getting still in the morning first thing, closing your eyes, getting still and centered, and learning how to breathe. Deep breathing to the top of your head and deep breathing out. And then you can do breath retention, but that alone, doing 30 deep breaths will make a difference in your life. And then you start with your day in the foundation of being still and centered. And the key is throughout the day, actually keep it. It's not just doing it, once in the morning, you get your meditation and your breathing going, and then you continue throughout the day, and then during the day, the shit hits the fan, and things start happening, and you completely lose your focus and being grounded. So the key is to be grounded and centered throughout your entire day. And that means, being so aware of what's happening. In the moment something happens, the moment you get triggered, you realize, okay, how was it in my meditation? How was I when I was still and centered? And get back to that feeling and being the observer of your life, being the witness, being so aware that you can actually step out of yourself and witness yourself when you're losing it. Because the idea is to be centered and grounded and in your still point with whatever is happening in your life, whether there's trauma, there's intensity going on, whether there's people, there's chaos around you, but you stay still and grounded and rooted like a tree. You can see yourself, you're a tree, you have these very strong roots, and you're so anchored in and so grounded that no storm can shake you off your roots. Nothing can throw you off. You are rooted in yourself. You are anchored in wholeness. and you don't get affected of what's happening around you, what's happening in the world, and what other people think and say about you, it does not affect you. So that is true power, when you learn to release the tension from your body and really owning who you are. Because you're not here to survive or to struggle or just to make it through your day. No, you're here to live fully and deeply and to love yourself and to love others and to move wildly and to love deeply and to experience joy and laughter every single day. So let me ask you, when was the last time you experienced heart belly laughter? When was the last time you played like a child? When was the last time you were giggling and just crying from the laughter you experienced? When was the last time you did something crazy, doing a pillow fight, putting your face in the snow, or jumping in an ice cold body of water? When was the last time you just let your inner child go wild? Most people are way too serious. They all day long walk around with a to-do list, and you're worrying about what's happening in this world and what other people think and say, what's happening in politics and Hollywood. And they're completely distracted from their own purpose, which is to experience pleasure, to experience joy and bliss, and to share love with others, and to share your gift, your unique gift, the gift that only you have. That's why you're here for. But most people are so disconnected from their purpose. They're not here to share their gift. They're surviving through life. It's about just getting it through a day. Maybe one day you can retire and you can finally relax. No, life is about to be enjoyed right here, right now, and living it fully from the depth of your soul, and to experience joy just from being alive, just from being you, having pleasure just by who you are, because you have created a life that you love, and you have fallen in love with every aspect of your life and with yourself. You're fully comfortable in your own skin, and you just love whatever you do. You're making love. It's like a love-making process, an eternal love romance with life, with every encounter of life, with every person. There's this love exchange taking place, heart-to-heart connection, pure love flow, when you're enhanced by others' presence. So there's this energy exchange. You both like uplifted and enriched through the experience. That is true living, and most people are so disconnected from it. So when was the last time you had that exchange with others? Because most of our exchanges are people complaining and whining about their life and how hard everything is, how they don't feel good, they have low energy, they don't have enough money, and what the crisis, what's happening in the world. These are the conversations. This is all chatter. It's mental chatter and chatter. It's like, that's not going to provide you with optimal health. Optimal health starts by sharing who you are fully, why you're here, your purpose, and sharing your gift. And everyone has a special gift. Everyone. If you don't think you have a gift, you have not looked deeply enough. Everyone has a talent, a certain skill, a wisdom, a teaching that they can share with the world. And by doing so, you're enriching someone else's experience. So you want to look, what is my unique gift? Maybe you had an experience that you had that was rough, and you overcame that experience. So now there's someone else out there in the world that has exactly that predicament that you once had, that you overcame. So that person actually needs what you have, because you have found the solution to overcome that situation and that challenge. So now you want to pass on to the other person, but that other person doesn't even know you exist unless you speak out and you share your voice, you share your experience, you share the medicine that you acquired by overcoming this experience. I was here, but now I'm here. And this is what I did, A, B, C. These are the steps I took to get there. And this is an experience that someone else can benefit from. And that is part of your gift, because we're here to be of service, to be our greatest contribution. We're here to be of service to others and the world. And we're here to share our gift, and we're here to live ecstatically by sharing our gift. But this cannot happen if you're still in this struggle mode of just making it through your day. Working all day, coming home, exhausted, watching TV, having your beer or whatever drink you're having, needing to relax, and hopefully the weekend is coming so you can finally have 2 days off and relax, and then Monday you go back to the same cycle. And this is like suffering, truly. It's quiet desperation. And 95% of people are actually in this paradigm. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's a way out. But you have to have energy to get out of there. You need energy and you need the awareness, two really key pieces. And you got to have good health. If you don't have health, you really have nothing, because health is the true wealth. Without health, you have nothing. Nothing else holds value without it. Just imagine you have all the things you want, but you don't have health. You wake up in the morning exhausted, in pain, suffering, low energy, fatigued. You're battling some kind of illness. You can't even enjoy all the other pieces. Even you have a beautiful relationships, but in pain, it's going to be hard to really enjoy. So the big piece, the number one, is health. Health is wealth. Health is the most important foundation for well-being, for living fully in your purpose. So we want to start there. And for those of you, you want the next level of your health, I invite you to join me tomorrow for the free masterclass. And there's actually a link in my bio. I think it's either up or down. Look in the bio, that's the link. You can join, sign up to join. But this is a free masterclass where we go into health and wealth, and why health is the most precious asset. And if you lose your health, you lose everything. You lose your leadership. It affects every single aspect of your life. And if you have health, everything else flows from there. So we're going to go deep into health alchemy and reclaiming your health. We're going to give you some tools and pieces that you can implement right away. So it's tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. And the link is in the bio. And I invite you to join me and really explore what's possible for you if you rise into your next level health. Because there's always next level, always. And we always need to upgrade. Because once we upgrade, we can actually see, wow, there's actually so much more available. And there's more and more. And it's only going to get better. And we're actually going to touch on this myth that with aging, it goes downhill. That's where most people live. They think aging means decline. Things are getting weaker and harder and heavier. And we're slowly moving towards the end. It's a slow crawl into decline. But that's not the truth. This is the truth. It's a program. So we're going to bust the myth on aging. That we just, with aging, which I only say we're getting older, but aging is not decline. Getting older means we need a different approach, a new way of showing up, a new way of being, a new way of doing, a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing the world. We just need a new approach than we did before. And then it's not about decline. It actually can be even better. And I always say the best time is now, and it's only going to get better and better and better. So please join me tomorrow at noon EST. And thank you for listening. And I'm sending so much love to you.